Hi everyone, thanks for joining in. I'm excited to have Charlotte Loeb joining us. Hi Charlotte.
Hi, kia ora.
So, some of you might know Charlotte's been our author for the day before, and also you're an associated author for this year. So, really excited to be talking to you.
Thank you.
So, just a little bit about Charlotte. Charlotte was born and raised on a lifestyle block just out of Hamilton in New Zealand. She kept busy in her earlier years with an array of interests and talents, ranging from ballroom dancing, violin, piano, and singing, to being a member of the New Zealand shooting team and High Performance Academy for air rifle shooting. That sounds very exciting. After leaving school, Charlotte went on to complete a Bachelor in Speech and Language Therapy at the University of Canterbury, and she now lives in Tauranga in the beautiful sunny Bay of Plenty with her husband, two children, and their fluffy cat. Charlotte has recently embarked on a new career to become a children and teens librarian, surrounding herself daily in the magical world of books. Sounds like the ideal job. Um,
Definitely is.
Along with her passion for words, Charlotte has a desire to bring mental health topics out into the open and to provide hope for those in need. And Hannah and Huia is Charlotte's debut novel. So thanks again for joining us, Charlotte. Do you want to start off by telling us a bit about Hannah and Huia?
Yeah, no, I will. I'm really terrible when it comes to people asking me about the novel, so I am going to read a little bit out of my apologies. Um, but yeah, so with Hannah and Huia, you first encounter Hannah on a mental health unit, where she's been struggling to cope with the aftermath of a traumatic event. But it's also here that she meets Huia, a long-term resident on the ward who lives entirely in her own inner world. So Huia sits only in the far right-hand corner. She picks and rubs at her left wrist, but never her right. And she speaks in strange sequences of three unrelated mutterings like catapult, porphyry, snakebite. None of the staff know what any of it means, especially not the enigmatic words sun, rain, bye-bye. However, Hannah forms this unique bond with Huia and slowly begins to interpret the meaning of some of Huia's seemingly random words and oddities, and eventually begins to piece together the story of Huia's heartbreaking past and also a little bit of New Zealand's shameful history. So yeah, that's kind of the story. Kind of the plot.
And I haven't mentioned this to you yet, but I just recently finished reading it and gave your book 5 stars. I really, really loved it. It was great.
Oh, thank you. I think I might have seen that. I might have
Mm,
seen a review that just came up a couple of days ago, but I didn't realize it was you. So
yeah.
thank
Yeah,
you.
no, so really enjoyed it. It is written like slightly different than some books, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
Um, Could you tell us maybe a little bit about what your first idea was, and maybe like how your writing process went with the book?
Yeah, so the book came about kind of for two reasons. I myself have a personal history of mental health illness and time on mental health units. So I always knew that I wanted to write a book that sort of demystified, the experiences of people with mental illness and of mental health units. So that was sort of one aspect. And then the second was, it was literally three words that just came to me in the middle of the night, which was sun, rain, bye bye. I had no idea at all what the words
Mm,
meant. I just had this clear vision of a Maori lady in a mental health unit. And so I don't plot when I write. I just start writing. So I pretty much just started with this whole idea of Huia being on a ward, wanted to sort of see her through somebody else's eyes. So I kind of put Hannah there on the ward. And then I just wrote it. And as I was writing, I was actually working out, why is she sitting only in the same corner?
mm,
Why does she, pick at her wrist? One, wrist, but not the other. And what do these words mean? So it was kind of an exciting journey for me because I had no idea myself. I was discovering it just like a reader discovers it as I was writing. Some people have sort of, commented that, particularly some of the starting chapters are a little bit disjointed, but then they will say at the end of it, I can so see why you did that. It's written in the perspective of Hannah. So Hannah was very distressed. So the writing had to reflect that. And then as the story progresses, the writing changes a little bit to kind of reflect her path and her recovery and the sense of hope.
And I was wondering as well, did you have any readers contacting you to say maybe similar might have happened to them?
I have. I've actually, that's probably the one big joy of having a book out in the world is people contacting you and saying, I really connected either with Hannah and some of her grief and struggles, and they've said, seeing her find purpose again has given them purpose, and some have resonated with Hui's story and have said that it's kind of given them a sense of healing. So it's really, really special when people contact you to say that your novel has really impacted them in that way, because that is the purpose that I wrote this. Coming from a mental illness background, I wanted something that people might think about, discuss, or even some people have commented that they've had family members with mental illnesses or family members with similar storylines, and they've said it's given them an ability to understand maybe why their loved one might be angry, or different emotions that they can kind of now have some piece of why they may be the way they are. And so that's really cool. That's really special as an author to know that my words have impacted.
And we've got a few people watching, so just wanted to say to those watching, if you've got any questions for Charlotte, please type them in comments and I can read them out. Sharon wonders how long the book took you to write and how much research you had to do.
Yeah, so it was a really long project. So it took me 6 years to write. Not like I wasn't writing every day. Some years, I might write sort of a week here and then nothing for a month, then another week. But it did take 6 years, which is a really, really long time to stick with the characters and, to stick with the project. With regards to the research, for Hui's story, there was definitely research into some of those storylines and to the 1960s, to things that were happening to women in the 1960s. A lot of it, I think, was probably based on my own personal experience. Like it's not my story, but having personal experience of mental illness, having personal experience of time in mental health units, I was really able to, I guess, draw on the emotions and the feelings and dig deep to sort of to be the characters as I was writing them.
And was there anything that you found when you were writing this novel that really surprised you?
What's that really surprised me? Finishing it. I will say. I wasn't certain for a while whether I'd finish it. Then probably for me, the really surprising part was, I know a lot of writers who, get rejection after rejection, and I was very lucky. I sent it off to get a manuscript assessment. The manuscript assessor loved it, gave names of agents. The agents, linked to the publisher, and it was all, that part was, for me, I was very lucky, considering I know how difficult it is for a lot of people. So for me, that part was surprising. Yeah, I think also for me, there was a lot of I've gone through a lot of PTSD and depression and everything like that. And getting all these words down on paper, it was almost like I was able to give over part of that and be able to put it down on the paper and go, okay, it's here. I don't need to hold all of that. So I guess there was a sense of release and relief in writing. And I know a lot of writers do say they sort of write for different therapy reasons or anything like that. And I think this definitely was in my case.
And what about your book being sold in other countries? How has that gone?
Yeah, so at this point in time, it has only been sold in New Zealand. It's a bit of a slow process. So it is traditionally published, but it's with a smaller independent publisher. COVID did hit hard. And so the process is a little bit slower. We are hoping this year that, to hopefully for it to become an ebook and an audio book and hopefully get international rights. It is that part of the wheel is just taking a little bit longer. So crossing fingers to all international readers that it will get there and hopefully soon.
Yeah. Can people buy from other countries, they buy it on Amazon or?
Not sure it's on Amazon.
Yeah.
I do know of some people in Australia have just been purchasing it. Who have they been purchasing it through? I think they've just been doing Googles, to be honest, and find the company that is the cheapest for shipping. Otherwise, requesting it in your library.
Yeah.
That's that would be a great way as well to get it international, is to request it in your library. And libraries are pretty good and open, with taking requests. So that might be a way for those who can't wait for international rights or an ebook.
Yeah. And can you tell us a bit about what you like reading yourself, and if maybe there's something you'd like to recommend to us?
Yep. For anyone who sort of follows me on my social media, they will know that I'm a big supporter of New Zealand authors. So that is often my first and foremost. I'm quite a wide reader. Like I love literary fiction. I love some crime fiction. I'll give anything a go, to be honest. I do have a few books beside me. Oh, this is my book for anyone who hasn't seen it. I grabbed 3 off the shelves that I like, and they actually all happen to be New Zealand authors. Charity Norman, who pops up quite a bit, I think, on the online group.
We've got lots of people who love Charity.
Absolutely love all of her books, and I would recommend any of her titles. This is her most current one, Remember Me. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. Yeah, I'd definitely say read that one. Another New Zealand author, The Tally Stick, by Carl Nixon. A really great story. It was one of those ones that I read, sort of lapped it up, passed it to the husband loved it, passed it to a friend loved it. So I definitely remember his. And then Tammy Robinson.
Oh yes.
And she's just a gorgeous writer. I've got quite a few of her books. That Photos of You, I just fell in love. Maybe, I don't know. I guess I do quite like books that tug at your heartstrings a little bit. I like the ones that have got a little bit of emotional depth to them. It's not like a sad story, but it is a sad story. I think you've read it, haven't you?
I've read it, yeah.
I've also just finished reading Strange Sally Diamond.
Okay, I haven't read that one, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's quite a dark novel, and I guess some people I've spoken to said it was just a little bit too dark for them. but again, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I have a morbid fascination for dark novels. I don't know, but it resonated it resonated with me. So yeah.
Well, thanks for those recommendations. We always love getting recommendations to add more to our pile of books to read. Could you tell us a bit about where you like to where you like to write? Do you have a favorite writing spot?
Usually I write right where I currently am. I share the office with my husband, who works usually behind me. I am not one of the people to be writing out and about, like in cafes and things like that. I'd love to be able to do that. I need perfect silence. Sometimes I can get quite grumpy with my husband because he does a lot of typing for his job, and it's like, shh, I've got like ideas in my head. Please just stop typing. So pretty much for me, anywhere that's quiet. I do quite like taking a notepad to the bush and just sitting in the bush and making notes. Yeah, often going for a walk, I will come up with ideas and jot them down. Pretty much I need silence. I need quiet. Yeah.
And what about a favorite snack or drink while you're writing?
Oh, I'm a bit of a chocoholic. So I usually have a few squares or more of chocolate. Yeah, that would probably be my sneaky go-to, which actually right over chocolate? There is a cupboard, and inside that cupboard is full of chocolate, so I don't even need to go to the pantry.
What's your favourite chocolate?
Oh, what's my favourite chocolate? I'm going to be a bit controversial and say I really like Cadbury, even though I know a lot of people are Whittaker's fans. And I love caramello put in the freezer until it's really hard and the caramel turns more to a toffee. Yep.
Oh, sounds good. And what do you hope readers love about your book?
What do I hope that they love? I hope that they connect with the characters. I hope that they can be reminded that, you know, it just takes one person to change somebody else's life. You know, that the reader could be that one person that, you know, could go out and change somebody else's life. I hope that people, particularly if they've got any preconceived ideas around mental illness, that they can see that, you know, that people are just people, and, you know, they act the way they act, or they are the way they are because of situations out of their control. And I guess I just hope that readers just just connect with the reader, the characters, connect with the writing, and maybe just can reflect on their own lives a little bit.
Oh, sounds good. And are you working on something new at the moment?
So there is a manuscript that's sitting with my publisher. It's been sitting there a little while, just waiting to see whether he'll take that one on. It's quite different to Hannah and Huia. It's about a little boy that's kidnapped and the mother's journey to find him. So it's just deciding also whether or not there's a risk to producing something like that, or whether I need to produce something more like Hannah and Huia and then try a risk later on. There is another project that I'm kind of working on, but it's taking time. So last year I was homeschooling my son, which took a lot of time and a lot of energy, so not a lot of energy left for writing in the evenings. And this year I'm back working, but also studying to become a children's librarian. So I kind of come home from work and then I'm doing study. So the evenings is when I used to write, and now the evenings is when I study. So I've kind of a little bit put writing on hold for this year a little bit, and we'll hopefully pick up again next year.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for talking with me.
Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to seeing what else might come out of you and what else we might be able to read. And thanks for those who joined in and asked some questions.
No, thank you.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.